Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Susie and I love to share with you guys my vintage booth. I love to do thrift store shopping and thrift flips and sell the items in my booth, and I like to show you guys how I do that. If that's the kind of content you liked, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Now let's get on to today's projects. I am slowly working through all of the rolling pins in my stash. So for today's video, we're going to do another rolling pin. I have a cute little vignette in my booth that's got yellows and bees and sunflowers and such in it. So I wanted to add a rolling pin in with that. I am painting this with Rethunk Junk in the color Sunflower. Is this beautiful bright yellow. I'm painting the inside of the rolling pin with that color, and then I'm going to do the handles black because we're going to stamp some bees on this. We're going to be using the stamp set Birds and Bees by IOD. It's got lots of larger bees and it's got lots of birds. Today we're just going to use the two larger bees. I do keep my stamps in these envelopes. They are so handy, and I do have them on my website available, and they're very inexpensive, the stamp envelopes, susieonthefarm.com. So normally when I stamp a rolling pin, I would roll it over the stamps, but with this Rethunk Junk paint, it's kind of slick. So in the past, I've noticed that if I do that, I have too much smearing. So I'm just going to carefully do this with my hand without a thin mount or anything. You just want to make sure you keep your hand in place at all times and then move your other hand around to make sure that the stamp is going all the way around your curved surface. Just be very careful when you're lifting it up so you don't get any smears. If you do get a tad where it's not supposed to be, if you immediately take a wipe, sometimes, especially if you're using a slick surface like this, you can wipe it up before it dries. So I'm just going to put 2 or 3 little of these bee stamps on here. And I don't need to seal the center because the Rethunk Junk has a built-in sealer and the ink is permanent, but I did distress and seal up the handles. And I love how this little rolling pin turned out. I sell rolling pins all the time, stamped, transferred, plain. Right now there's probably 7 or 8 of them in my booth. I always pick up mirrors when I can find them for a decent price, especially beveled mirrors with amazing detail like this one has. I am simply going to paint this frame. This is Fusion in the color Cashmere, and I'm using my large pointed Sash brush that makes quick work of painting this and getting inside all of those details. I also never tape off glass or mirrors. To me, it's just easier to scrape it off when I'm finished and clean the mirror. After I get it all painted and it's dried, I did spray a little bit of glass cleaner just to help the paint release from the glass, and then I'm just going to gently scrape off any excess paint, clean the mirror up good, and now I'm going to, you don't have to seal this paint, but I'm going to use a dark wax to bring out all those details. So I wanted to put a clear wax first just so it would make it easier to wipe back any where I don't want it. And I'm actually going to use Fusion's Antiquing Glaze. It will settle down in all those grooves and details, and then I can just come back and wipe the excess with a paper towel, and it makes this mirror look so high end. I love how this turned out. See how you can just wipe back as much as you want? And don't forget, all these Fusion products are available on my website. Look how gorgeous this mirror turned out. I just love it. For our next few projects, we are going to be using the Seed Catalog new transfer set from IOD. I am in love with this transfer set. It is 8 smaller pages, so it's a little bit less expensive than many of your largers, but it's got so many designs in it. It's lots of seed packets with vibrant, beautiful colors. Puts you in the mind of the ephemeral melange transfer book, but it also is different as well. So I'm going to use this for several projects in this video. I had already cut out the peas because I knew I was going to use them and these strawberries for our first project with this transfer. I've had these 2 little drawers for quite a while. I liked them. I love the color of them and how distressed they were, but there was just something missing on them. And when I saw this seed catalog transfer book, I knew that this was going to be perfect with this color. As you can see, the strawberries do not fit onto the little drawer front like I want it to. You don't have to use transfers just like they come in the book. You can cut them apart and use them exactly how you want to. It is so easy to piece transfers together. I'm going to show you a little bit of how to do that here, but I'm going to just start by putting the one on and just going around the edges. If you've never used a transfer before, it's super easy. You just take the tool that comes with them and you rub your transfer onto your surface until it releases. And you can see the color change on it when it does release enough, but slowly pull your transfer up as you go. And if it's not releasing, you can lay it back down and continue rubbing. So I got these how I wanted them, and there was a lot of excess left over. So I'm going to cut that off and place it somewhere else where it looks better. But I went ahead and transferred all the way to the edge before cutting off the little leaf. Once I cut off the little leaf, I'm going to place it somewhere else that it looks more natural. And I really like how this box turned out. I did the same thing with the peas, cut them up and placed them on there how I need to, and then went back over with the little wording just right on top of the peas. And these colors look so cute with this transfer set. I can just imagine you could just about use any color with these and it would look good, but I think this blue color is so perfect. When you get your transfer down, you want to take a piece of the plastic backing that it comes on and just rub over all of it to make sure all the little edges and everything is stuck down, and this is called burnishing. I'm going to go ahead and seal up these boxes. I don't know how they were protected before, but I just wanted to protect the transfers. So I went ahead and sealed up the outside of both the boxes with some Tough Coat from Fusion. This is in a matte. Once it dries, you cannot even tell it's there. Look how amazing these little drawers look. For our next project, I picked up this tin canister, and at first I was just going to put a transfer on it, but I decided that it was just too shiny. So I'm going to go ahead and paint it with a Fusion in the color Champness. It's very similar to the blue that was on those little drawers. This paint goes on amazing. I did not clear coat this or anything. This is a shiny, slick surface, and this paint went on so easy. I did do 2 coats, and I let it dry completely in between both coats, and that's it. This is sealed and ready to go. I will let it cure for at least a couple of weeks before I take it to the booth, though. This is another transfer from the Seed Catalog transfer book. And these transfers that are like one whole piece like this, wow. All you got to do is rub a little bit on the edges and the corners, and it just comes off so easy. But still, be sure you go ahead and burnish it, and don't forget to paint the bottom of your project as well. Always look through the greenery. Even though this pot's not very cute, the greenery in it is really nice. It was clean. It was high-end looking. So I picked this up. I didn't pay more than $1.99 for it. And this is going to be a very simple flip. I'm just going to paint it with the same Champness paint from Fusion and blow dry it or heat gun in between coats and do 2 coats. Then I am going to take some white wax just to bring out that little emblem on the front. I'm going to cover the entire thing with white wax and then wipe it back with a paper towel. And now you have a completely different look to something that you paid very little for that goes with just about any style in anyone's home. Today's last project, I'm always picking up vintage cookbooks. I thought this one was super cute, but when I peeled the price tag off, it pulled part of the front off. So I thought that I would go ahead and make it pretty, but still make it where it can be a used cookbook in a kitchen. So we're sticking with the same color scheme and the same transfer pack. I'm just going to paint the outside of this book, being careful not to get it on any of the pages. This Fusion paint goes on so smooth and the coverage is amazing. This could have stood 1 coat. I did, just for good measure, went ahead and did 2 coats on the front, the back, and the spine of this book. I also wanted to tell y'all just how far this Fusion goes. I did this entire cabinet with this Champness paint, and it's still halfway full, and I've done tons of smalls with it too. So even though they just come in a pint, they go so far. There's also very little prep that goes along with using the Fusion paint. You can almost always just clean and paint, and it also has a built-in sealer, so you don't have to do any waxing or top coat. I am going to put a little detail on the spine of this book. I am in a hurry. I don't have a lot of time for clay to dry or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and use the 10-minute Amazing Casting Resin. Super simple. You mix half of A, half of B, pour it into your mold, wait 10 or 15 minutes, and it is ready to go. So I used the Trimmings 2 mold, and this one fit perfectly on the spine. And now I'm just going to use a brush to spread some Type Bond quick and thick glue onto the spine, making sure to get this stuck down all over the place and give it just a little time to dry. Initially, also I'm going to wipe off any excess glue because your paint won't go over the glue. So while it's wet, just wipe off your excess glue. Initially, I was going to leave it white, but I decided to go ahead and paint it the Champness too, and then white wax over all the details of the mold. It just makes it pop. I am only going to put white wax on the mold, not on the entire book, because we're going to put another transfer from the seed catalog on the book. And transfers will not stick to wax. Make sure if you're going to use a transfer, you wax after you put your transfer on, not before. This beautiful transfer fit just right on this book. I'm just going to carefully center it before I lay it onto the book. A lot of times, especially with this fusion paint that has the built-in sealer, if you lay it down, it's going to stick somewhere. So be committed before you lay it down. This one come off easy. I'm just going to rub until the transfer releases onto my surface. And as you can see, if you will lift slowly as you are going, you can see the color change. And if you have missed a spot, you can lay it back down and rub some more. Transfers are so easy and actually pretty addicting and satisfying to put on. If you like the looks that I have created today and you want to give this a shot yourself, you can get all the paint and products that I'm using on my website, susieonthefarm.com. I hope that y'all have enjoyed today's projects. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite. I appreciate you guys watching my channel so much, and I hope to see you next week.